Most people believe empires fall slowly from decay, corruption, or time, but history records moments when single women pushed the world as strongest powers to the edge of collapse. Rome, Han China, and mighty naval dynasties all faced moments of panic, chaos, and fear, triggered not by kings, but by women history tried to silence. What you're about to hear sounds impossible, yet ancient records, historians, and surviving evidence suggest it nearly changed the world forever, and the truth behind it will shock you. One woman burned Roman cities to ash, another drove China out of her homeland, and another ruled the largest pirate fleet ever seen on Earth. These were not myths, not legends, but real women whose actions reportedly forced emperors to reconsider conquest, retreat armies, and rewrite history under extreme pressure. And the most unbelievable part is how close they came to winning everything, before fate, strategy, and betrayal shifted the balance at the final moment. Let me show you exactly how this happened, and why these stories still matter more today than most history books ever explain. To understand the danger these women posed, you must first understand the empires they challenged and why those empires believed resistance was completely impossible. The Roman Empire ruled with roads, steel discipline, and fear, crushing rebellions fast, while Han China relied on massive armies, taxes, and cultural control to dominate regions. Empires were systems, not just armies, and breaking them required more than anger. It required timing, leadership, and people willing to risk everything. This story begins in Roman Britain, around 60 years after the birth of Christ, when Rome believed the island was finally under control. Britain was divided into dozens of tribes, many choosing submission to Rome in exchange for limited power, safety, and survival under imperial protection. One of these tribes, the Iceni, ruled lands in modern eastern England and were allowed to keep a local king loyal to Rome. That king, according to Roman sources, was Prasutagus, and his agreement with Rome was simple: his family would rule after his death. But when Prasutagus reportedly died around 61 CE, Rome ignored the agreement, seized Iceni lands, and publicly humiliated his widow, Queen Boudica. Sources claim Roman soldiers flogged Boudica and assaulted her daughters, an act meant to send a message of fear to every tribe nearby. Instead, it ignited something Rome never expected: a rebellion driven by rage, unity, and a woman with nothing left to lose. Boudica did not whisper revenge, she screamed it, calling farmers, warriors, freed slaves, and nobles to rise against Roman occupation together. Tribes who once feared Rome reportedly joined her, seeing a chance to reclaim land, honor, and freedom in one decisive uprising. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because Rome's enemies didn't just attack soldiers, they targeted symbols of imperial power itself. The first target was Camulodunum, modern Colchester, a Roman stronghold built on sacred tribal land as a statement of dominance. The city fell fast, defenders overwhelmed, temples burned, and according to historians, almost everyone inside was killed without mercy. Word spread quickly, and panic raced through Roman Britain as towns realized the empire's grip was weaker than believed. Boudica's growing army marched next toward Londinium, modern London, a major Roman trade center with little protection. Roman officials reportedly fled, leaving civilians behind, and the city was destroyed so completely archaeologists still find burn layers today. Another city fell, Verulamium, targeted for supporting Roman culture, where survivors were hunted down beyond city walls. By some ancient estimates, tens of thousands were killed, and Rome suddenly faced its worst crisis in Britain's history. This was not chaos, it was momentum, and momentum is deadly when empires rely on fear to survive. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear what happened when Rome finally struck back. The Roman governor, Suetonius Paulinus, returned with a much smaller force, reportedly fewer than 10,000 trained soldiers. Boudica's army may have numbered over 200,000, including warriors, families, and supporters gathered to witness victory. The two forces met along Watling Street, where terrain narrowed, removing the advantage of overwhelming numbers. Roman discipline, shields, short swords, and formations turned the battle into a slaughter within hours. According to Roman historian Tacitus, Boudica chose death over capture, and her rebellion collapsed in a single day. Yet here is the shocking truth most people miss. Rome was reportedly considering abandoning Britain entirely before her defeat. One woman pushed the greatest empire of its age to the brink of retreat, and that was only the first story. because while Rome barely survived Boudica, another empire soon faced two sisters who refused to kneel. This time, the empire was Han China, and the land was ancient Vietnam, ruled through taxes, governors, and forced cultural change. For decades, local people endured control, but heavy taxes and executions reportedly pushed them beyond endurance. When a local leader was executed by Chinese officials, his wife and her sister answered with rebellion, not fear. Their names were Trinh Tric and Trinh No, and what they achieved stunned one of the largest empires in history. According to historical sources, the Trinh sisters came from a noble family and were trained in leadership, combat, and strategy, something rare but accepted in their local culture. In 40 CE, they raised an army, reportedly led by many women, and rode war elephants directly into battle against Chinese garrisons. The result shocked everyone. Fortress after fortress fell, and Chinese soldiers were slaughtered or fled in panic across the region. Within months, sources suggest the sisters controlled more than 60 strongholds, effectively expelling Han rule from Vietnam entirely. Trinh Tric was declared queen. Taxes were lifted, and native customs returned, restoring a way of life many feared was lost forever. For nearly 2 years, the Han Empire lost control, something previously thought impossible for such a massive centralized power. But empires rarely forget humiliation, and the Han Emperor soon sent a legendary general named Ma Yuan to reclaim the territory. His army was professional, disciplined, and relentless, slowly pushing the sisters back through superior logistics and strategy. Despite fierce resistance, allied tribes reportedly defected, sensing the empire's return, and the sisters faced impossible odds. Rather than surrender, sources claim the sisters chose death, walking into a river and drowning to avoid capture and shame. Their rebellion failed militarily, but their legacy lived on, inspiring centuries of resistance and shaping Vietnamese identity to this day. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all, because the next woman didn't challenge land empires, she challenged the oceans. In the early 1800s, the South China Sea was ruled by pirates, but none were feared like a woman called Ching Shih. She reportedly commanded over 70,000 pirates, more than many national navies, enforcing strict laws with ruthless efficiency. Under her rule, theft, violence against civilians, and disobedience were punished by death, creating order through terror and profit. She didn't just raid ships, she controlled trade routes, charging merchants protection fees instead of destroying cargo. Even imperial fleets failed to stop her, and records suggest she destroyed or captured dozens of government warships. At her peak, Ching Shih controlled territory, ports, and pirate offices, functioning like a shadow empire on the sea. Eventually, facing combined Chinese and European pressure, she did something no conqueror expects. She negotiated retirement. The empire agreed, granting pardons, wealth, and rank, allowing her to walk away undefeated and live peacefully. So what does all this mean for us today, beyond dramatic stories and ancient battles? These women exposed the greatest weakness of empires, not strength, but overconfidence and blind belief in permanence. Each empire believed control was absolute, until resistance aligned with leadership, timing, and popular support. Their failures weren't caused by lack of power, but failure to understand people and culture. History often teaches kings and generals, but these stories remind us systems collapse when legitimacy breaks. Empires survive force, but fall when fear no longer works. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. None of these women were trying to make history, they were responding to injustice, loss, and survival. Their rebellions were not planned legends, but human reactions that spiraled into world-changing events. That's what makes them terrifying to empires and inspiring to everyone else. The truth is, history doesn't change only through slow decline. Sometimes it almost snaps in an instant. Rome nearly abandoned Britain, China lost control of Vietnam, and global trade bowed to a pirate queen. These moments were closer to collapse than textbooks usually admit. And they all began when powerful systems underestimated women they believed they could control. If this opened your eyes, remember this: history isn't just shaped by power, but by resistance. Sometimes the most dangerous force isn't an army, but someone with nothing left to lose. These women didn't just fight empires, they forced them to reveal their limits. And those limits still matter in our world today. If you want more untold history like this, stories that textbooks rush past, make sure you stay with us. Like the video if you learned something new. Subscribe for more cinematic history, and share this story with someone who loves real power struggles. And tell us in the comments, Which empire surprised you the most, Rome, China, or the pirate world? Like, subscribe, share.